Listening to the Thompson twins, and that means it's time when they sing Doctor, Doctor. We do have a real Colonel Dr. Thomas Rogers in the studio from Cleveland Clinic Union Hospital. Dr. Rogers, it's really you, it's not AI, right?
That is correct. No AI today.
It is so refreshing because, well, you know, we've been talking about things going that way and how eerily an experience that can be very unnerving and eerie. And we're talking real human beings, really. What is the Cleveland Clinic Union Hospital mantra? Families
Taking care of families.
Families
That's right.
taking care of families. And we are happy to have you back for another edition of Medical Minutes. You have a lovely guest here with you today.
I absolutely do. Thanks, Kelly. Today we have Kari Klasserner, who is our director of our cardiopulmonary rehab unit. She was with us last year talking about the unit, but today we wanted to talk about wellness and just about how you can stay healthy. While we want to take care of all your needs at Union Hospital, we also want you to take care of yourself so that maybe you don't have to come in as often. But we definitely want to talk about wellness and have just some topics that we want to bring up today.
Fantastic. Well, Earth Day, time to make sure we are being aware of Mother Earth, which is helping us. It's kind of a ricochet event. Kari, welcome back. Great to have you here. We're talking, read the statistic, 80% of chronic disease driven by our lifestyle, 80%. Dr. Rogers, Kari, that's a huge number with us being in control.
It is, absolutely.
With the cardiac situation, let's begin with our food. We keep hearing about the Mediterranean diet. Do you think that's still number one?
We do teach the Mediterranean diet for our cardiac patients. I feel like there's a lot of ways that you can get to wellness, but the Mediterranean diet is easy to stick to. It's mostly plant-based. It's not a strict dietary regimen. It's a pattern of eating that mimics how the people along the Mediterranean Sea eat. And naturally, it's very high in vegetables and fruit and legumes and nuts and seeds and fatty fish. And we see good benefits for cardiovascular health and just wellness in general with the diet.
Now, Kari, when you say fatty fish, don't let that word fatty scare you. Let's remind everyone there are good fats, there are essential fats that we can get and should get from our food.
Absolutely. There are essential fatty acids, and those, like you mentioned, you just get them through food, and we need those. They're good for brain health, they're good for heart health. The fats you want to stay away from are the hydrogenated fats, the fats that are kind of man-made. So we want to get our fats mostly the way they come in food. So nuts are naturally have fat in them. Seeds naturally have fat in them. Your healthy proteins naturally have fat in them. That is the best way to get your fats, is the way that it comes naturally sourced. We were talking earlier about how there seems to be some noise out there about, oh, I just don't know what to do with my diet because it seems like it changes. The thing that doesn't change is we just need to eat real food. Real food, the closest you can get to nature, is going to be your best option. You're not lacking anything in a box or a bag. In fact, if it has a food label on it that has an ingredient list, it's probably not the best option. If it has one ingredient, and if you buy a bag of frozen vegetables, it'll say green beans. That's what we need. Just single ingredient foods that you're preparing at home is going to be your best option for wellness.
Kari Klasserner, Dr. Thomas Rogers in the studio. We're talking a general wellness day today on Earth Day, very appropriate. And when we talk about food labeling, Kari and Dr. Rogers, maybe the three of us know, when we were growing up, there was no such thing as labeling of food. So now it's maybe a blessing and a curse. We know exactly what that saturated fat number is. What is the protein? How many grams of carbs and sugars? And when you want to stay away from saturated fat, Kari, it's easy to see that on the labeling of the foods that, as you mentioned, may be a little more processed.
Right, and the latest research is adults are getting 60% of their diet is ultra processed foods, and kids 67%. So that is not the best option for wellness. We want to stay close to those foods that are single ingredient, closest to nature, minimally processed.
Before we move on to physical activity and sleep and stress relief, Kari, help us with the shopping. It begins with how you shop, and I'm so looking forward to our farmers markets in the area where you know it's local and fresh and minimally processed. But put our thinking caps on before we ever step into the grocery store. What are some things we should consider?
Yeah, so if you stay on the outside of the grocery store, that's going to be where you find the best options. And just because it's in the grocery store doesn't mean it is the best option. Most of our food labeling is marketing. So if it's marketed as healthy, I usually take a second look at the label, because that is what it is. It's marketing. And the things that are not marketed are usually the healthiest for us. So your vegetables, your fruit, your unprocessed proteins and meats, and dairy that doesn't have a lot of added sugar in it, those are going to be your best options. We hear a lot about whole grain, but you can also get lost in the weeds of those whole grains. If there's lots of ingredients, and if it's been processed, like your wheat bread, not all wheat breads are created the same. So you want to look at the label, and it should just say whole wheat on it. That's the best option.
Well, you've helped us with our next shopping trip for sure, because it can be overwhelming. If this is all brand new to you, wellness, the whole wellness program, where you never really thought about what you were putting into your mouth, your body before, it can be kind of fun to get the kids involved. It can be a challenge, yes, but it can also really be satisfying when you feel better even a week later. In Dr. Rogers, Kari, from Cleveland Clinic Union Hospital, continuing on with physical activity. Food is a huge, important component, but it doesn't stop there. We got to move.
Yeah, and so actually for the physical activity, the biggest thing is you just have to find something you like, something you enjoy, but you really want to have about 150 minutes per week. That's really 30 minutes for 5 days, or maybe it's over 7 days, it's only about 20 minutes. But one of the things that you have to look at too, besides, and that doesn't mean you have to go out and run, it just means activity, walking, finding something you like. A lot of people play pickleball now, a lot of people are out there and getting active. But if you stay that activity, and things like parking further away when you go shopping, so you can further walk, take the stairs instead of the elevator, different things like that too, that you can get in those extra steps throughout the day. Or get a watch that measures your steps each day and see if you can get 10,000 steps a day. Make it fun, make it enjoyable. Instead of sitting on your phone for 30 minutes or watching a show on Netflix, go out and walk, or walk during that show even. Get something in your house, maybe even have a bike, or if you want to do a treadmill and things such as that, you can do both. But the biggest thing is getting out. Our sedentary lifestyle is what makes the problems for us. If we're not doing the activity, it leads to increased chances for obesity, which then leads to the diabetic chances for our type 2s, and then leads to overweight, which then leads to more problems for us with our heart and our lungs and all those things. And then if you throw in things like smoking or alcohol too, on top of that, which sometimes goes along with a sedentary lifestyle, that's when we have the problem. So we really just want you to get out there and exercise, do something you like. And as we get older, walking is fine too. You don't have to do all that running and all the things that we used to do when we were younger, but you just have to get out there, get your heart rate up a little bit, enjoy the weather. It's a beautiful day today. Just get out and enjoy yourself. But 150 minutes a week is all you ask. And you think, oh, I can't do that. You need to schedule it, make time for it, put it on your schedule, and say, I'm going to do it. Maybe you exercise in the morning, maybe you exercise at night, but we just need people to be able to get out there and do some type of activity.
Well, as you mentioned, we are blessed with the weather we have today, and now spring in the Tuscarawas Valley. Really much easier to get out to enjoy our beautiful parks and outdoor walking area. And I've heard for quite a few years now, being sedentary, sitting is the new smoking. Kari, I'm sure you've heard that too.
Yes, I have.
Clogs everything up. You've got to move. Can we, either one of you, Kari or Dr. Rogers, address sleep? That is one issue that just continually keeps coming up as a frustration for many. Again, you fall asleep fine, but you wake up a couple hours later, can't get back to sleep. Any new advice about good, sound sleep?
Yeah, I think we both can talk a lot about sleep and how important it is. We really need to have about 7 to 9 hours per night. Kids need a little bit more. As they get older, high schoolers, we find they don't get enough sleep either. They need to at least have maybe between 8 and 10. It's a little harder on the kids, but even as we get older, that 7 to 9 hours a night of sleep is very important, not only just to recharge our bodies, but our brains as well. You actually lose weight if you get enough sleep. Sometimes if you don't get enough sleep, your body has a tendency to maintain and hold on, and you don't get the activity that you need, on top of the activity, but you just don't get enough sleep to help you lose that weight. And you'd be surprised, like, well, why would sleep help you? But it does. That chance to recharge the brain and the body does allow your body then to utilize your carbohydrates a little bit better, because if you don't get enough sleep, then you're what's next when you can't
You're
get the sleep?
insulin resistant, you don't handle stress as well. When you sleep at night, your body is designed to go through a whole host of cleansing mechanisms. And the other thing is, people say, well, what interrupts my sleep? Sometimes we're eating too close to bedtime. Your body has to digest that bedtime snack, and then it's not doing what it needs to do. So they recommend not eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. They recommend trying to set your circadian rhythm first thing in the morning. So get some natural light first thing in the morning. That sets your circadian rhythm. We have so many artificial lights. We work in artificial light, and then we keep the lights on all evening, and so your bodies are just kind of confused. So like a routine where you can kind of give your body signals, okay, it's time to wind down, we need to shut the screens off, turn the lights down, and kind of ease into that nighttime routine so that you can sleep better.
And Kari Klasserner, I've heard about cardiac rhythm as well, being affected negatively without enough sleep. Is that really true?
I'm not an expert on all of the things that cause electrical disturbances, but sleep affects all the systems. It affects your hormone levels. It affects, we talked about your insulin level, and it affects how you regulate stress. And when your body is under stress, all kinds of things can happen downstream.
Stress.
Yeah, stress.
That just leads us right into, so many physiological things happening during sleep. So we really need to make an effort to get a proper amount. Okay, stress, the big S. Dr. Rogers, Kari Klasserner. Many of us eat away our stress. Think before a college exam, you're eating, and that's not the proper way. Maybe smoking, not a great way to address stress. Help us with better, maybe meditation practices, better stress mechanisms. Help us.
Yeah, so we know life is stressful. It's going to happen. And what we tell our patients is have a plan. There are ways that you can manage your stress. We're all going to have stress. Your body's designed to handle stress, but it's when you stay in those heightened states of stress for long periods of time that's when they become what we call a contributing risk factor for coronary artery disease and all of the chronic diseases. So good coping strategies are sleep. I say gratefulness journaling, breathing exercises, anything that kind of shifts your mind out of like what it is that you're focusing on into a state of, I got this, I can handle this, I have a plan, and I'm going to walk through the steps and finalize the plan to help with my stress level.
And the equation in my mind with stress is adrenaline, cortisol. You said the body is designed to handle some stress, but what happens with too much adrenaline, too much cortisol over time?
Well, again, all those, I think those things can lead to anxiety, depression, and things too, if we're too busy and having those thoughts race through your mind. So I think that kind of contributes too with those issues. So we talk about meditation, yoga is helpful, stretching, all those things too, which gives you a little bit of movement, but also helps you to wind down, like Kari talked about. I think those are important as well, because some people think, well, I can't do yoga. Well, there's a lot of the yoga piece to that is that stretching piece and just kind of, relaxing. How do you get your mind to kind of step back and take a break? And then it helps because you get the extra stretching and movement too. So there are some great things that go along with that.
Yeah, the great thing about all these lifestyle practices is they all kind of work together. And exercise has been shown to be one of the most powerful things you can do. It's the most powerful tool in your tool belt for wellness. It helps your mental health, it helps your physical health, it helps your metabolic health. It's just so powerful that you have to be intentional and schedule it in, like Dr. Rogers was speaking about.
Wellness Today with Cleveland Clinic Union Hospital Medical Minutes, Kari Klasserner and Dr. Thomas Rogers. Before we wrap up, we're talking smoking cessation. Still too much smoking going on everywhere. Does the hospital offer any kind of assistance with smoking cessation?
Yeah, our community health nurse has a freedom from smoking class that you can call and get on her schedule, and she will let you know when the next class is and walk alongside you. The Cleveland Clinic also has a virtual that you can reach out to as well. And of
Oh,
course, we
nice.
know Ohio Quit Smoking, that line is always available as well.
All right. And again, we want to thank Dr. Thomas Rogers, Colonel Dr. Thomas Rogers, Kari Klasserner. I love the mantra, it's progress, not perfection.
Absolutely.
So you don't want to beat yourself up if you didn't reach that particular goal today. But again, the Tuscarawas Valley, what a beautiful place to be outdoors, from the Zoar Garden area to Tuscarora, Dover Parks, to get out for that oxygen and take a yoga class outdoors might be an idea for you. Thank you so much for encouraging us with Healthy Habits, our wellness program today. Medical Minutes on WJER.